welcome to another episode of She Hates Whiskey. My name is David and I love whiskey.
My name's Meredith and I hate whiskey, but I love him.
So She Hates Whiskey, basically we explore learning to like whiskey, learning about whiskey, but most importantly we just try to have some fun. So this week we thought we'd try something a little interesting. Last week we reviewed a bunch of the Game of Thrones whiskeys. And one in particular, the Clynelish for House Tyrell, is actually really high ABV for something that is, ostensibly pretty commercial.
Yeah.
So it's 51.2% alcohol by volume, so that would be like 102.4 proof.
I think I'd say 102 beers.
No.
That's about 102 beers.
It probably depends on the percentage, maybe. I don't know. We'll find out. Anyway, we'll do the calculations later. So,
Let's do math.
When I was tasting it live on the show, I drink whiskey, but even at that high ABV, it's a little bit much to be able to dive in. So
is this one of the ones you said you needed a little more time with?
Yes, and I said I needed specifically to add water to it.
Oh, yeah.
So I kind of want to start off by talking about proof or ABV. I'm going to talk mostly ABV just because in the US, proof just means twice ABV. There's a whole thing about how in Britain proof was if it was above 100 proof or over 50%. If you added it to gunpowder, it would cause it to burn or explode when you lit it up or something. And that was proof of the alcohol. But then we just basically made it twice ABV because that's kind of what it is, and now it's like a weird thing. Anyway,
okay.
So let's not get lost on a tangent.
Woo-hoo!
Whoops.
No, it's fun.
So I wanted to talk about proof and why proofs are different. So in order for it to be whiskey, it has to be at least 40% alcohol by volume. But this is 51.2. So why would a whiskey be 51.2%? Well, there are a lot of factors.
You were asking me. I was
So,
gonna guess.
whiskey's aged in barrels, and it's usually put there at a relatively high proof. It depends on the distillery, because at different levels, you get different qualities coming out of the wood and the aging, and a lot of variables. So when they take it out of the barrels, usually, like for bourbon, it can be pretty high, like 65% ABV or something like that. Scotch is usually a little lower, because they actually lose alcohol in the aging process. And in Kentucky, where a lot of bourbon is made, it actually increases in ABV because water evaporates instead of alcohol. So what they're then given is a choice to actually increase the volume of booze that they get out of it. So, Jack Daniels would be 40% alcohol, and that's because they get it at 65 out of the barrels, and then they water it down so that they get the most volume.
Yeah.
But something to consider is, so let's take an analogy of milk. So milk initially usually has about 4%, usually has about 4% fat content. So you see that whole milk, 2% milk, 1% milk, the way skim milk, of course, and the way that is done is that they allow the fats to separate, and then they essentially just skim off the fats, right? But you could also think, well, if I want to drink 2% milk,
right,
I could also pour half a glass of milk, half a cup of milk, and then put half a cup of water in.
Gross.
And now it would be 2% fat by volume. However, what would also happen is you would change the flavor, right? And so it wouldn't be the same.
Yeah.
So with alcohol, when you take something that is 50% and you water it down to 40%, you're not just reducing the percentage of alcohol, you're reducing the flavor as well.
Good.
So that is why people like higher proof whiskeys is because they have a more robust flavor profile. So that is why people would actually seek it out. And the other benefit is the reason why a lot of people do water it down is not just because they want it to get as much volume as possible, but because they want the flavor profile to be exactly where they want it to be. Sometimes adding water opens things up, sometimes you lose things, and so when they serve something at 46 ABV, it's because they think that's where they want it. But as a higher volume, you get to make it the proof you want by watering it down.
Okay.
So you can add drops of water. So,
Thank you,
what
Professor David.
are we doing today?
That was fascinating.
Today we have 3 glasses. This is poured straight out of the bottle. This is watered down, added water, so it's approximately 40 alcohol by volume. And this one is watered down almost half. I would say it's probably 25 to 30%. And I want you to walk your way down.
Okay.
Or maybe would you rather walk your way up?
I'd rather walk up.
All right, so we're going to walk up, and we're going to see how the flavors change. So only thing added is water. Thank you, Bella.
Should I calculate the different smellospheres?
Smellospheres. We're doing smellosphere test.
This is the Meredith whiskey smellosphere test. It's when I can already smell it. Smellosphere is this big. No, wait. Let's see.
Great.
That's the smellosphere on the
Smellosphere.
first one. Okay.
25 to 30%.
I think I just don't like the smell of this one.
That's okay.
Okay.
We're going to see the difference, right? Not just what you think about it, but what the difference is.
I can tell the difference.
Yeah, sure. We'll
They're
find
all
out.
the same. Okay. There you go.
This is the moment where I wait while she builds up the courage.
Ooh. Not.
So on an alcohol scale, not much effect?
No, not much effect. No, I'm seeing if it. Oh, it's got
some flavors?
Yeah, some nice.
Some finish?
Finish, yeah. I don't love the way it feels in my mouth.
So sweet.
Yeah.
Kind of like a little saltiness, actually, to my palate. All right, so let's walk up. Smellosphere.
Okay, smellosphere.
40 ABV. About the same.
About the same. Should have a more accurate measurement of the smellosphere, but about the same. Should have a ruler or something. Or...
Sure. She loves it.
Good.
Stronger flavor.
Uh-huh.
More of an alcohol.
More of a burny.
More of a burn.
Yep. I just don't think I like this one, but it was much easier to drink out of the first one.
You okay?
I'm giving it to you now.
All right.
I want you to have it.
All right, well now let's do the smellosphere on the full proof.
Okay.
51.2.
That's definitely more. That's a bigger
Ooh, I get
smellosphere.
more honey on this.
That's a bigger smellosphere.
Bigger smellosphere.
Bigger
It's
smellosphere.
official, guys.
Yep, it has a bigger smellosphere. Have you been doing smellosphere at home? Let us know. Ooh, actually, you know, it actually smells better full on.
Interesting. Okay.
Full on. I get more smells. It smells very sweet.
Very sweet.
I think.
Yeah.
It actually smells kind of good.
Good.
But I know it's gonna hurt me.
But it's gonna hurt her.
Yeah.
So.
Ugh.
She loves it.
My whole mouth hurts. The whole roof of my mouth.
I would say, you on the other two, you really couldn't nose any sense of alcohol.
Your
Per se.
can on the.
On this one, it's very apparent.
I can still. It's haunting me. It's like I swallowed a thorn.
It's funny because going through them each, you can kind of sense of just, it's like you're slowly just turning the volume up
and
as you go along.
Smellosphere.
So why don't you go back and try the first one real quick before we finish, so you can see if now coming back to it.
It doesn't smell good. This one doesn't smell good. That
It doesn't
one smelled
smell.
good to me.
It smells different though. Maybe you like the smell of alcohol a little bit.
I guess they kind of smell similar. I don't know. After a while, I just want it to be over.
Okay.
I love whiskey. I don't.
She doesn't.
I mean, now that's just like water.
Yeah,
It's just
now
like
it's
after you
like
go
nothing.
to the last one, that one hardly tastes like anything. It's great.
I mean, it's reduced by about half.
Yeah,
so.
that's nice. I always thought adding water would make it really weird.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that was like a bizarre idea to add water to things, but it.
I mean, that is
I see
what
the
most
benefit.
bottles of
Yeah.
whiskey are. I mean,
Yeah.
they're something that's aged in a barrel
Yeah.
that's taken out that then water is added to.
I can still feel it.
She can still feel it.
I can
Well,
still feel it.
this is an interesting experience for any person
Yeah.
enjoying whiskey.
It would be fun to drink all three and try to put them in order. I think these two would be tricky.
Well, you
Like
can
to
tell
do a
just by the
blind-
color. If
I know
you
you'd
look
have
at
to
the
be
color,
like
but
blindfolded.
yeah, or like
It's
glasses
like a
with
future episode.
covers.
We
But
should do something blindfolded.
I always recommend if you're starting with a whiskey, trying a new whiskey, or trying to get someone into whiskey, use water. Water is your friend.
Yeah.
More so than ice. I feel like ice really numbs, especially with scotches and
Yeah.
Irish whiskeys that are so delicate
Plus, I
and
think part
relatively
of-
light.
What's a little bit nice, there's something nice about
That's
whiskey, is that it's warming. You know, it's
Mm.
nice and warm. So when you have ice in it, you're kind of like, oh, I'm kind of warmed up, but also I'm cold, and this is icy. And it's
Well,
weird.
it really numbs your
Yeah.
flavor as opposed to turning it down.
Yeah.
It numbs you instead of
Right.
turning down
Yeah.
the flavor
I
volume.
see
So
this. I thought it would be weird, and it wasn't that weird.
no. We hope that was at least interesting for you. Why don't you guys at home try this? Try watering it down to various degrees and see what you notice is different, how it changes the way you interact with the whiskey. Check out the Smellosphere, of course. And hopefully you'll have fun while doing it like we did today,
Aw,
right?
Yeah.
So, of course, if you enjoyed this, please like, subscribe, share with friends getting into whiskey, follow us on Instagram. And of course, continue enjoying your whiskey or not.
Or not, yeah.
And we'll see you next week. Bye everybody.